Hi,
Thank
Akanksha.
you. Thank you for joining in and thank you, the audience, till now. I hope there's no background noise at my end.
No, no, your voice is absolutely clear. And thank you so much for having me. Really excited to be here and talk about one of my favorite topics, gut health.
Yeah, we are also very excited to have you. So thank you, audience, for joining in. We'll start with a brief round of introductions. Vandita is a fellow IIMer and she's a functional nutritional practitioner and a women's health coach. And she helps women heal from their chronic issues and hormonal imbalances using a root cause approach. She is a firm believer of improving wellness from gut microbiome. And you can connect with her on her Instagram handle, Purposely Thriving. About me, I'm Akanksha. I'm a fellow IMer and the co-founder of MicrobioTx, which is a very young gut health startup. And we aim to bring gut and microbiome related science to improve health conditions for a wide range of chronic disorders. So without wasting any further time, let's dive deep into the topic at hand. Vandita, so let's start with the first things first. What do you actually mean by good gut health? And why is it important?
Okay. So before we get started on good gut health, let's quickly first touch upon what gut is all about. Because I think a lot of people here wouldn't even know what gut really means, right? We think gut is something that resides here, somewhere around the stomach. But gut is much more than that. So let's quickly first talk about the gut. Your gut is basically the GI tract, your digestive system that starts with your mouth and goes all the way down to your anus. So that is your gut, right? A very major component of your gut is the gut microbiome, which is a collection of trillions of bacteria as well as other microorganisms that reside in your large intestine. So they are primarily supposed to be in the large intestine, right? And this gut microbiome is very important because it can impact your overall health in significant ways. It impacts your mood, your energy levels, your weight, your skin health, so many things, right? And your gut microbiome can also be a very key indicator in determining if you have any kind of a chronic health issue. Things like diabetes, cancer, autoimmunity, then you have PCOS, endometriosis. So most most health conditions that we talk about today or are we seeing around us is actually tied to your gut microbiome and the gut microbiome health. So when we say good gut health, what we really mean is two things. One is your digestive system, your digestive health needs to be in great shape. So your stomach acid production needs to be optimal. Your digestive enzyme production needs to be optimal. So you should be able to break down the food that you're eating really well, and you should be able to absorb that food, right? Because that is what will give you energy. So that is the first thing. Second thing is your gut microbiome, basically the collection of those trillions of microorganisms. Those need to be diverse. So you need to be able to digest all kinds of whole foods that you're eating without experiencing bloating or food intolerances or allergies, skin allergies, etc. So that is what you mean by good gut health. Your microbiome should be diverse. It should be even. Now there are pathogenic strains in your microbiome. There are commensal strains. So when I say commensal, I mean those bacteria and fungus which are helpful to you, which have a symbiotic relationship with the human, right? You are letting them reside inside of you, and you are providing them with food. Basically, the fiber that you eat, your body is not able to digest it. That is digested by your microbiome. So you're giving them these things. In return, they give you metabolites like short chain fatty acids, etc., which impact the different kinds of functions in the body. So we're going to talk more about the metabolism, how your gut microbiome impacts your metabolism. So, in a nutshell, that is what good gut health is.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And now moving on to metabolism. So while gut health is important for a range of physiological functions like mental wellness, skin health, etc., etc., we'll talk about more about metabolism for which the audience is here with us today. So now,
Right.
what do we mean by metabolism? Is it just weight loss? Is it more than weight loss? What is it?
Yeah, so usually when we say metabolism, the first thing that comes to mind is weight, right? Person with good metabolism is able to maintain a healthy weight. A person who has a sluggish metabolism gains weight very easily, right? Metabolism is so much more than that. It's basically your all the chemical processes that go on in the body, which keep you alive, which keep you vital,
Hmm.
are a part of metabolism. So metabolism primarily means breaking down of your food in into energy that your cells can utilize to perform all bodily functions like reproduction, respiration, excretion, digestion, everything, right? So that is metabolism. So that's really important. And any kind of metabolic disorder that happens, any kind of metabolic dysfunction that happens, leads to all kinds of chronic issues. So there is a very strong connection between your gut microbiome and your metabolism. Uh, if I talk about a few things, how gut microbiome impacts your metabolism, uh, your gut microbiome is plays a very major role in keeping your moods in check. So, if you've heard of serotonin, it's a neurotransmitter, it's a happy hormone, right? It's 70% of it is actually produced in your gut. And your neurotransmitters, they will determine how you're feeling, how your moods are. So if you are feeling sad, if you have low moods, right, we tend to eat a lot of junk food. We tend to eat a lot of sugary foods, right? We tend to make poor food choices. So that is one way how your microbiome can impact your metabolism, because your food choices are going to be poor. You're going to eat more inflammatory foods that is going to impact your metabolism. Secondly, your gut microbiome also switches on and turns on certain gene expressions, which will in turn determine how you distribute weight on your body, how the fat distribution happens on the body, right? So this is the field of epigenetics. A lot of times we feel, we are not genetically that blessed, and it's sort of that's something we have to live with. But that's not true. A lot of genes can remain switched off. A lot of bad genes can remain switched off if your diet and lifestyle is optimal, and if your gut microbiome is in good shape, right? So your microbiome has the capacity to turn on genes which will decide how you are distributing weight in your body, how your liver is storing fat, how your liver is producing glucose when required. So this again in turn impacts your metabolism. Thirdly, a lot of hormones get secreted basis the metabolites that your microbiome secretes. So I was talking about the short chain fatty acids, right? This is just one type of metabolites that your microorganisms, the microbiome in your gut, secrete. Uh, these they travel to the brain, and they will stop the production of this hormone called ghrelin. If you've heard of it, it's the hunger hormone, and increase the production of leptin, which is your satiety hormone. So in that way, it can also affect your appetite. So people who have this process functioning smoothly in their body, they will know when to put the spoon down, right? So again, your appetite is also determined by your microbiome. So lastly, there is also a very strong correlation between your gut microbiome and the way you metabolize glucose, how you utilize the food that you're eating, and how you convert it into the energy to be utilized by your cells. So, things like insulin sensitivity, insulin resistance, all these things are actually determined by your gut microbiome. So, diabetes, insulin resistance, these issues primarily they begin in the gut. You will see. We also have research on this that people who have type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes, insulin resistance, these people have gut dysbiosis, right? And what we mean by gut dysbiosis is basically your harmful bacteria are outnumbering the commensal bacteria, which is the good guys, right? So, yeah, these are some of the ways in which your gut microbiome can impact your metabolism. And there have been studies on animals as well, where obese mice, there was a transplant done from the uh, gut of the obese mice into the gut of lean, healthy mice. And we started seeing that the healthy, lean mice, they started gaining weight. even though there was no change in their diet or their energy expenditure. It was clearly because of the microbiome that they got from the obese mice. So yeah, that's a very beautiful connection and often missed out. We think about calorie counting, we think about working out more than 5 times in the gym every week, and still we are not losing weight. But maybe the answer lies in your gut. That is what is causing your weight gain or weight loss.
So would it be right to call gut the missing link
Yes,
to?
yes, yes, absolutely. So gut, in fact, it's the most important piece of the puzzle. In my practice, also, I focus primarily on gut health along with mineral balancing. But gut is definitely one of the biggest missing links. And sadly, today in the conventional medicine space, in the healthcare that we are not really focusing on gut. We are
Yeah.
not. Nobody will ask you how your gut health is. Nobody. And when I say how your gut health is, doesn't just mean you don't have any digestive symptoms. So a lot of times when I ask this to my clients, how is your gut health? They will feel I'm talking about the digestion alone. But as we now know, gut health encompasses so many more things than just digestion. So it's not just acidity, bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea nahi hai, so my gut is in a good shape. If you have skin issues, if you have acne, if you have eczema, rosacea, all of that, that can also be tied to your gut. If you have brain fog, anxiety, depression, uh, Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, all of these things can again be tied to your gut. If you have any kind of autoimmune conditions, that can also be tied to your gut. So that is how vast gut health is, and that is how helpful it is.
So I was reading somewhere that 75% of all published papers in gut health have been in the last 5 years alone. So it's a very
Yes,
new,
yes,
it's a
very
very
new. Yeah. So research is going on even as we speak. So
yes.
it is very new. We've just scratched the surface when it comes to gut health, but from whatever research we've had so far, it's very promising. And I think in the next 5 years, we are going to see a significant transformation in the overall healthcare because gut health is going to become a crucial part of it, hopefully.
So when we are speaking so much about the importance of having a healthy gut, we have a question from Upasna. So how do you maintain a healthy gut, or what is it that could disturb the gut microbial health?
Okay. So there are so many things, right? Let's start with the most important one, stress. Any kind of stress, be it psychological, emotional, physiological, can significantly uh, impact your gut health, can impact your gut microbiome diversity, right?
Mhm.
Uh, Now, having said that, if you are not sleeping well, that is also a stressor on the body. If you're under eating, that is a stressor. A lot of women, they tend to eat 1,000, 1,200 calorie diets thinking that is the only way to lose weight. You are doing a major disservice to your body because when you eat less, your body goes into a starvation mode, right? Intermittent fasting, again, it has its own time and place, shouldn't really be done all the time, and should ideally be done under the supervision of a practitioner because that can also have significant impact in raising your cortisol, basically your stress hormone. So, stress of any kind can impact your gut negatively. Then we have inflammatory diet. Uh, the worst offender would be vegetable and seed oils, which I think we've been consuming like anything in the last 20, 25 years. And we can see the way all the diseases have risen in the last few years, right? So, vegetable oils, seed oils, all of these are complete no go. They're pretty bad for your gut health, leads to all kinds of metabolic disorders as well. So avoid those. Gluten, again, gluten, GMO, pesticide, fertilizer laden food. All of that is not that great for your gut. Then we have processed foods, packaged foods. So simple rule of thumb is anything that is made in the factory, you should reduce the intake or you should avoid it as much as possible. Try to eat as much as of those foods which come from the earth. Conventional dairy, conventional meats, conventionally raised meats are also very inflammatory in nature. So those should also be avoided. So that's all about the diet. Again, diet is very important, but diet is not the whole picture. We feel diet is the only way we can impact our gut health. Exercise is another one. Exercising adequate amounts, strength training, any kind of movement, yoga, walking, Pilates, anything that brings you joy is going to be very beneficial for your gut. So, don't be sedentary, move. Uh, Apart from that, chronic usage of medications of any kind, be it antibiotics, uh, painkillers, antacids, all of these things, if you use them for a very prolonged period of time, they start impacting your gut health very negatively. They're going to start killing the good guys in your micro biome, and it's going to give rise to the harmful pathogens, which will in turn lead to a lot of issues with your metabolism and with other kind of diseases setting in. So avoid using medications a lot. Don't constantly just pop a pill if there is even a slight little bit of pain or a little bit of fever. We've just started living very conveniently, right? But convenience is sort of the killer of good gut health. So that is another thing. Uh, what else? Light exposure, blue light exposure, artificial being in artificial lights a lot can also negatively impact your gut health. Uh, Being in front of your phones and in front of your laptops after, say, 8 p.m. at night is going to impact your sleep quality as well, right? So blue light, artificial lighting exposure needs to be reduced. Instead, get adequate sunlight. We are we are a generation which is moving away from the sun. We think the sun is the biggest culprit, causing all kinds of diseases, skin cancer, and whatnot. But sunlight, first thing in the morning and in the evening, is very beneficial in a lot of ways, and it also improves your gut diversity. And lastly, go out in nature more. So we tend to live in our sterile environments inside our houses or in our offices a lot. Go near water, near grass, earth, just touch earth, be in nature more, because these things will uh, bring in more good guys, more microbes, more diversity through your skin, uh, through your mouth, etc. So be in nature more. So these are the few things that you should do in order to get good gut health. I hope that answers your question.
It does. And just curious, I read at a couple of places that the delivery type and whether you are breastfed or not also makes a difference. So does it?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So, if you are born through normal delivery, you tend to get a lot of your mother's microbiome, right?
Hmm.
Now, of course, if your mother's microbiome in the first place was not that great, you will get, you will
Not that great.
unfortunately inherit the bad microbiome. But if you are a C-section delivery, you will comparatively not get as beneficial microbes as somebody with a normal delivery. So that is definitely there. You can't do much about it, but of course you can take care of your environment, your diet, your lifestyle, things that are in control, in your control. So you can do those things. As far as breastfeeding is concerned, the longer you are breastfed for, the better for you, because formulas, etc. All of these things are again artificial, and if you look at the ingredients, they're pretty horrible for yourself and for your kid, right? So mothers, I mean, new mothers who are wanting to conceive or who've just conceived, you should really ensure that your child is breastfeeding for as long as possible, because those kids have a better immune system. Again, your gut health impacts your immune system significantly. 70% of your immune cells reside in your gut. So people who have not been breastfed for as long, or people who are born through C-section, they tend to have a lesser immunity, innate immunity, compared to people who are born vaginally.
So, assuming I do all of these things, I follow a healthy lifestyle, exercise well, sleep well, would having a healthy microbiome ensure good weight management or ensure weight loss or that I meet my weight goals?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, uh, we have been indoctrinated with the idea that we are supposed to be counting our calories, we are supposed to be eating less, we are supposed to be moving a lot, working out every single day in order to lose weight. But it couldn't be further from the truth. You need to do things which will keep your gut microbiome healthy and happy. And weight loss is going to be a happy consequence of that. It's going to be a side effect of that. So don't focus on losing that weight, focus on your gut health, and your weight loss will automatically happen because your body knows when to store that fat, when to let go of that fat. If you are in a starvation or a survival mode, if your stress levels are very high, that's going to impact your microbial diversity, and in turn it's going to affect your metabolism, and you will keep gaining weight even though you are eating healthy supposedly. But it's all about ensuring that your gut microbiome is in a good place, and that is going to take care of itself, and you will start losing the unwanted weight. You'll start shedding it on its own.
Okay, I now come to a question from Santana Kurana. How do you find out if your gut health is good or not?
If you have any kinds of symptoms like skin issues, mental health issues, so brain fog, anxiety, depression, or if you have any issue that has been diagnosed, right? PCOS, insulin resistance, diabetes, hypothyroidism, autoimmune conditions, that clearly means there is some kind of a gut dysbiosis present. If you have clear cut digestive issues, then obviously that means you need help with your gut health. Um, what else? If your energy levels are very low, if you are experiencing chronic fatigue, if you're sleeping enough, you feel like you're sleeping for 8 9 hours, but you're waking up tired and groggy and not able to go through the day. If your moods are very low, if you don't have the motivation to really do a lot of things, all of this can, and if you are on the obese side or if you're very underweight, all of these are signs that your gut needs help.
And I'll also take a moment here. So we have the gut function test, which is a very simple test with which with a simple finger prick, you will be able to know about your gut microbiome. I'm mentioning about the website in the chat. Please do have a look. And it's as simple as a finger prick that is done for glucose testing. So now moving on, Vandita, a couple of questions from the audience that were asked when registrations were opened. So first is from Shamna Adur. Is there a direct impact of COVID on gut health? And how do you combat long-term acidity? I think both are unrelated questions, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, COVID did have a significant impact on gut health. It led to a lot of people experiencing something called as leaky gut syndrome. What that means is your gut lining, basically the lining of your intestines, it's very, it's supposed to be a tight lining, right? It's one cell. It's very thin. It's semi-permeable. It facilitates the transfer of nutrients into the bloodstream, but when that lining starts experiencing gaps, when the tight junctions start becoming loose, it's called as leaky gut, and that leads to all kinds of issues, autoimmune issues, and pathogenic bacteria sliding into the bloodstream, causing skin rashes and skin issues and things like that. So leaky gut is responsible for a lot of secondary infections as well. So during COVID, we did see that people who were going through COVID infection, their gut lining got impacted. They were also seeing gut dysbiosis, meaning the growth of harmful bacteria was more compared to the good guys, the commensal bacteria. So yes, COVID did have an impact on the gut microbiome. And secondly, how to combat acidity, right? Long-term acidity. Okay, so first of all, you need to get checked for H. pylori infection. That is one very major reason why people experience acidity. Uh, so you have tests for H. pylori, get that done, rule that out. And if you don't have H. pylori, then what you can do is you can start focusing on things to improve your stomach acid. Now, there is a strong misconception that high stomach acid is what causes acidity. but in reality, it's just the opposite. It's low stomach acid, which causes acidity. And when you are consuming antacids or PPIs to sort of combat that acidity, it makes things even worse because it'll neutralize your acid even further. So it's important to manage this symptom for short term through medication. Of course, it becomes necessary and inevitable, but you also need to keep working on the root cause on the side, right? So if it's an H. pylori infection, you will need to work on eradicating that. Or if it is coming from chronic stress can lead to significantly low levels of stomach acid. So work on your chronic stress issues. It can come from sleep, it can come from toxic relationships, toxic work culture, it can come from a lot of places, financial issues, things like that. So you will need to address what is the major stressor in your life, and you will need to slowly get out of that, get out of that, and that is going to in turn start improving your stomach acid. There are of course other things, other minerals and vitamins that you can take, uh, things like lemon juice before half an hour before meals, lemon juice, apple cider vinegar. These things tend to optimize your stomach acid before meals. But you also need to see if you're able to you're able to when you take apple cider vinegar, sometimes it's, for some people it can burn the esophagus, for other people it's completely fine. So you will need to see if you're able to tolerate it well. So again, it's very bio individual. It depends from person to person. No two people are same. So yeah, mostly it's going to be your chronic stress and H. pylori infection that you need to look at when it comes to acidity.
Okay. We'll quickly take a couple of few questions. I don't think we'll have time to take all the questions that were asked. So, is there, how close are we to the possibility of personalizing diet recommendations based on gut metabolism? Asked by Reema Pandey.
So Akanksha, why don't you answer this question? Because I think along with the gut function test report, you also share the dietary recommendations, right?
Yes. So, for the benefit of audience, once the gut function test is done, we know what harmful microbes are high and what helpful microbes are low. And by looking at research, we know what food items can impact this balance. So, which is how we personalize your food recommendations for your specific gut, addressing only those harmful microbes or helpful microbes that need attention. So, we are, if you ask how close we are, it's a reality today. Okay. One question from Chetali that I'm super underweight. What should I do for my gut so that my weight increases?
Okay, so Chetali, unfortunately, I won't be able to give you very personalized advice. Uh, but your low weight could be coming from gut dysbiosis, and of course, iron dysregulation. So these are two things that I think might be causing your low weight. For this, you will need to dive a little deeper. You will need to understand the root cause and then work accordingly. If there is any kind of leaky gut present in your case, I don't know what other symptoms you are experiencing, but if you have a leaky gut as well, that might be causing some kind of an autoimmune issue. Type 1 diabetes, for example, leads to significant weight loss. So you will have to look into all these factors to understand what might be causing it and then work accordingly. But broadly, the guidelines that I shared on how you can improve your gut health in the one of the previous questions, you can follow those uh, for the time being till you are able to work with a practitioner maybe, or if you're like more of a DIY kind of person, there are a lot of resources online as well where you can start reading up more about how you can eliminate trigger foods from your diet first, then reintroduce them when required. But you will also have to look into your mineral health, because a lot of times iron dysregulation is what can cause type 1 diabetes and weight loss issues. So I hope that answers the question.
I think it sure does. Vandana, very quickly, just last maybe two questions. One was
Yeah.
asked by Avantika Rajgopalan. What are the alternatives to yogurt?
Okay, so yogurt, if it's prepared properly, it can be a powerhouse of probiotics, which are nothing but good bacteria, like especially lactobacillus. And if you want more probiotic options, there are many. There is sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir. You get packaged foods, packaged sauerkraut kimchi in the market, but I would suggest just get yourself a fermentation kit and make your own sauerkraut and kimchi at home. Have it with your meals. That's going to be very beneficial because it adds a ton of probiotics into the system, and it's just a great alternative for yogurt, I would say. Alternatively, you can also use coconut yogurt and you can add some strains, bacterial strains to it, and then you can ferment it. So if you are allergic or intolerant to dairy, that is the reason if you're avoiding yogurt, you can use coconut yogurt as a substitute, but make sure that you're adding some strains to it to sort of make it a probiotic rich dish.
Even I didn't know about coconut yogurt, but it's a good option. Uh, there was another question by Saurav. Is there a need for dinner every day? I think this is kind of answered by your earlier answer on intermittent fasting.
Yeah. So again, depends from person to person. But for most women who are cycling, I would suggest do not skip your meals. Even if you are wanting to do intermittent fasting, do it as per your menstrual cycle. Don't fast during the luteal and the menstrual phase. You can fast during the follicular and the ovulatory phase. Again, a lot of women already have so many chronic issues to begin with, so many hormonal imbalances that intermittent fasting or skipping meals is just going to add a lot more stress to an already stressed system. So try avoiding that. Meet yourself uh, where your body is at, right? You There is no one size fits all approach. It's very personalized.
One, a couple of more questions. I don't know how many we'll be able to take because we are already 2 minutes ahead of time. So, Sana had asked, does gut health affect autoimmune issues? Would you like to just briefly touch upon it?
Yeah, so I mentioned, right, autoimmunity again. So there is something called as the autoimmunity triad, which is three conditions that need to be present in order for autoimmunity to manifest in the body. The first is a genetic predisposition. Second is environmental factors, meaning your diet, your lifestyle, your environment. And third is a leaky gut. So if any of these conditions is missing, autoimmunity cannot happen in the body. So the third condition was leaky gut, right? So as I explained to you what leaky gut is, if that is present, that can definitely lead to your immune system getting activated because of all the undigested food particles and all the harmful pathogenic bacteria just entering the bloodstream. So that could be causing autoimmunity. So gut health definitely is connected to autoimmunity.
Manisha and Rashmi, I think we will be able to answer your questions personally over emails. So the questions are, is there any mineral or vitamins deficiency responsible for gut health? But we are already 3 minutes ahead of time, and we have an audience also to answer. So thank you, Vandita. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Uh,
so much, Akanksha. I really had a great time. I hope everybody, uh, there was some value addition in this half an hour for you guys, and so grateful you all joined for today's webinar.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Do remember to give us the feedback, and thank you, Vandita, for your time and for sharing your expertise.
Thank you so much for having me, Akanksha. I
Thank
had a
you.
great time. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye.
Bye.